Everyone talks about gratitude when life is good, but the people who win consistently are the ones who stay grateful when the pressure is crushing you. Gratitude isn't proven when everything is working, it's revealed when nothing is. The moment you choose appreciation over bitterness, you take back control of your gratitude. Interrupts that loop of fight, flight, or freeze. It says, I'm not unsafe. I still have options. This moment does not define me. That interruption alone can be the difference between collapse and clarity.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you are hearing this or watching this. If this is your first time here, we are Old Guys Still Rock, becoming better and better known as OGSR. We are on episode number 135. That's 135 today. A little thought that was talked about on a phone conversation a couple years ago has turned into 135 of amazing episodes. So if this is your first time here, strap in, get a piece of paper and a pen, or a notebook and a pen. You're going to get some great golden nuggets on here. And not only with this episode, but again, I have 134 other great episodes to go back and you can kind of figure out who we are. And just in case you don't know who I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I am a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate located in the beautiful Coachella Valley, which is basically Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Indio. Somehow, some way, you've had to hear about that somewhere. If you haven't, as Brent always says, get a map, find Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and go from Palm Springs all the way out to Indio, actually all the way out to Coachella. And everything in between that, that's the Coachella Valley. And then the other guy, again, if this is your first time here, who's on this, is the other host of the show and a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, is Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated, man with many different hats, from detail shops to body shops to payroll companies to multi-property owner. Him and his wife have invested and created an amazing wellness center 2 years ago called Wright Wellness Center. So if you're in the Eugene area and you haven't checked it out yet, check out Wright Wellness Center. It's just off Airport Road. Can't miss it. I think it'll blow your socks off. So it's something that I'm pretty sure Eugene doesn't have. So if you're looking into that alternative health care lifestyle type of things, go and check it out and see what their programs are. I think you'd be well surprised. But another cool thing that he's done lately, he got together with a group of guys, a contingent of guys, and they bought a company almost a year ago, called BustedTees.com. So if you're a novelty t-shirt person, this is the place for you to go. Their numbers are off the charts. They have great little, I don't know if you want to call them memes, if you may, especially the Star Wars community. But again, if you're into novelty t-shirts, go check it out. If you want to make a novelty t-shirt for you, they will show you how to do that. So that was a really, really long introduction, but sometimes we're getting a lot of new followers over the last couple of weeks. So I just want to make sure you guys are up to date of who we are and why we are so freaking cool. That's why we call ourselves Old Guys Still Rock. Kind of see my cool little.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice and cool outside this morning. Usually we have like sunny and 75 degrees. Today is going to be a high of 60 degrees and rainy. So
my wife typed my sweatshirt. Plus, it looks better on her anyways.
Dude, they're comfy, bro. I mean, they're really soft and comfortable. So anyway, how are you doing, man? This is day 365 of 2025. Can you believe it?
That's crazy.
It was fast.
Yep.
Are you feeling good going into 2026? Do you feel like you left anything on the table for 2025?
I always feel like I leave something on the table, no matter how hard I push, no matter how hard I focus and goal plan, all of those things. It just seems like it's just never enough.
Yeah. Job not done, right?
Job not done. Power of one more.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
So last week, go ahead. Keep going. No, I want you to go ahead.
I was going to say, so one of the coolest numbers is one of our meme pages, Death Star Digest, hit 50,000 followers over Christmas. And the other claim to fame is Justin Bieber's brother liked a couple of our videos and started following us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
So, and we also had about 3 weeks ago, we had, I can't remember his freaking name, Danny Trejo.
Oh,
Danny, yeah. So he started following us and liked some of our stuff too.
Yeah, dude. That guy he's kind of a little, he lives out here in the desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I thought it'd be cool for our followers to know.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. My buddy does kind of like some indie films once in a while out here, and he's been in a couple of them. So it's kind of cool to see him. And that guy, there's a lot of stories on that face with Danny Trejo.
Yeah. Trejo. That's the, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's
I didn't
awesome,
know how to pronounce his name, so that's super cool.
There you go. Danny Trejo. Thanks for following bustedtees.com.
Yep.
And we don't get paid for that, by the way.
So let's get into the episode.
Yeah, man. So last week we talked about gratitude, right? And how important it is, and some things that you've done over the last couple of years to really make that a focal point, really almost the main focal point of your life, and why it's so important. Especially, I mean, gosh, we talk about it, seems like a lot, it's just, social media and just mass media, and just actually, I just think the public in general is just so downtrodden. It's just more concentrating on the negative and making sure they, they're stepping on people or making fun of them because they don't have the same beliefs. And we have lost that really main part, and most really kind of almost the important part of why we're here is gratitude. Mm-hmm. So this is basically going to be part 2 of this series. And I think that you have it, but I'm going to pull this back up here. So we're going to talk about today. So last week we talked about, I can't think of the topic right off the top of my head, a lot of going on, but this week we're going to talk about, this is part 2 in the series, why grateful people win more often.
Yeah.
I think it was a good lead on. Basically what I said is, we've lost that. And people like you, there's a little bit of it in me getting better at it. But people like you have really taken out a lot of stuff from their insides and replaced it with gratitude, and how that's really excelled, especially for your 2025. A lot of cool things happen for you, even though that Wright Wellness Center is 2 years in existence. You've had some massive leaps this year. Yeah. Busted Tees came in, massive leaps this year, so, and then still building on the other stuff that you have. So let's get into it. I'm giving you the mic. I've talked too much today, so it's your turn.
So one thing to know is this episode that we're doing is going to take us from theory into transformation. Last week we focused on a lot of theory and a lot of cheat codes on how to transform into a grateful human. This week we're going to focus on showing how gratitude just doesn't feel good. It wins when life is the hardest. And so I'll just jump right in. Everyone talks about gratitude when life is good, but the people who win consistently are the ones who stay grateful when the pressure is crushing you. So with some of these wins that you're promoting for me, thank you, by the way, there's a lot of pressure. So a lot of the real estate deals that I do are not easy because they are wrought full of problems. People come to me or bring them to me, or I buy them because the house is a mess. The house is a train wreck. Their finances are a train wreck. The taxes haven't been paid in 7 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of that is a lot of process, but with process comes pressure. And so none of these deals are easy. I'm actually looking for the hard deals because nobody else wants them. And that's where the most reward is where the risk lies. And so you have to be grateful for the opportunity to take on the pressure. There's not a lot of people that seek out pressure. And then when you seek out pressure, you need to be grateful for it because you asked for it.
I think that's super important, to kind of think about it. Just you and I were talking, obviously pre-show about this, I have some stuff going on there, and I kind of, the morning started off that way. We had some health issues with the family, and it kind of just changed. We were supposed to do this, and this today. We were supposed to, hang out with some friends, and just the whole dynamic of today just shifted just like that.
Yep.
And it's been ongoing, and there's pressure. And I started writing the journal. I'm like, here we go. That's like, and I almost left the journal like that this morning. Like, here we go. And I have to say, okay, if I go back and read this and use that for stepping stones of how to create from the future, not living in the past, but just remembering how I handle it, I have to write more. And so I'm like, okay, God, I'm grateful for this situation. Guide me and help me, be the light in this situation. And so I'm grateful for that this stuff is happening, even though it's not fun right now. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of confusion. I'm so, okay, I'm grateful that you're putting me in this moment. Tell me how you want to use me to be your light. And so in essence, that's my gratitude, right? Because I could say, God, dude, such my life, FML, dude. I mean, here we go again. Right. It's like the end of 2026 or 2025. What's going to happen now? I mean, God,
2026 is going to be better.
Yeah, dude, just can't wait for this day to be over with. So anyway, but and that did help, and I'm really relying on the stuff that you told me last week, and that's why guys said if you haven't watched last week, definitely just stop right here, go back and watch episode number 134. And this will spill into here. That stuff that we talked about last week really kind of spilled into not only the last 7 days, but really today. I'm like, okay, let's not get all because your world changed and you're not going to be able to do a couple of things that you want to do today. Is that really going to change your life? Just be gratitude that God's putting you in this situation and take this time to shine. So,
and that goes to my next point.
Yeah,
is that we need to be aware and use gratitude as a strategic weapon during adversity. You used it as a strategic weapon. You didn't even know you should. You just thought, this is what we talked about last week, so we should do that. Right? So during adversity and business downturns, leadership conflict, burnout, uncertainty, personal loss, personal struggles, health issues, all those things, you need to learn to use gratitude as a strategic weapon. Meaning, if you open up the universe and rip a hole in it, it's going to fill it. If you ask God for help, he's going to help you. It may not be the way you want to be helped.
Truth.
But you have to be grateful that you have a God who's willing to help you.
Yeah. And again, so guys, I think that's, it's a mind shift, because I think everyone's kind of getting tired of hearing all the negative and doing some different things, or these people will never change. So what are we doing? How are you changing your mindset to wake up in the morning and saying, God, so, you heard Brent say the last couple of weeks, I'm grateful that I get to wake up and not hear AK-47s in the background. I'm grateful that I have to, even though my house is in constant, state of flux, right? We'll call it that instead, right?
God bless my wife for putting up with that. She kind of starts it with her Pinterest board, though. I'll tell you that.
There you go, right? But so just constantly try, even though that it would look like a hurdle or something like. Thank you for putting me in this moment. Thank you that I have the opportunity to do this. A lot of times we see that, or we could have a really bad day, and maybe someone's got a handicap or a health issue or something like that. I'm like, wow, my life is not that bad anymore. But we lose focus in it because that's just, I just think we hear a lot of it, and that's we tend to, and I don't know how that has been put into us, but we tend to focus on the negative instead of the positive. It happens to me a lot. I get it. I get flustered. I have a colleague. I swear that they thrive on having it. And then they make
a lot of people do.
And they make it drama. And it's exhausting. It's like to the point, like I don't even want to hang out with them or talk to them because, like, how you doing? Oh my God. I'm like, okay, but that's your job. Thank God you have that problem. There's a lot of people that would like to have your problem, but it's almost to like they want to have this so they can have this spotlight on them, and it's such a negative spotlight. I don't think that they realize, and actually, I don't think I realize. I'm sure that I do it too. That spotlight, the only one that can really see it is them. The other one, the spotlight's off them. And the reason why is people don't want to look at it or be around it.
So I'll give you a little nugget to think about, and then I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. So gratitude isn't proven when everything is working. It's revealed when nothing is. The moment you choose appreciation over bitterness, you take back control of your life. And that's going to segue into the two stories. So story number one, we have a gentleman who got referred to us at the wellness center, guy named Frank. Frank was in essence me. He's just older. He had a condition that caused him to have a stroke. And for the last 4 years, Frank hasn't been able to move very well, hasn't been able to do the things that he used to do. Built a life he didn't have to escape from. Where have you heard that before? Built everything with his two hands, had a beautiful place out in the country, had all this cool stuff that he built, all these cool things that he did. He was a hobbyist. He did woodworking. He did welding. He did. Sound like a parallel so far?
A little bit.
So
I wonder if this is a fiction story.
No, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real. So Frank had a stroke and now is dependent upon his wife and his family to do everything. They had to sell the place that he spent his whole life building. He had to sell everything. All of his woodworking tools, all of his mechanic tools, all of his welding equipment, all of his stuff. Now, I only know a fraction of the story, pieces that my wife has told me. Now, he's interacting with the wellness center, doing hyperbarics, doing vibration, doing light therapy, doing all the things. And Frank's getting to the point where he can now say 3 or 4 word sentences. He can feel his feet and his hand again on his side that he doesn't have a lot of feeling in. He's starting to sleep better. He's starting to communicate with his wife. He's starting to not look and feel and act depressed all the time. I just wonder, in Frank's mind, is he grateful that he's still alive? And is he grateful that he had to go through this to be able to appreciate life? And is he grateful for the fact that he is now interacting with my wife and her staff at the wellness center? And just what pieces of gratitude Frank has. I haven't been able to go down that road with Frank and sit with him, but you just wonder if Frank looks at the adversity that he's been served on a platter, and I have to question it. I'm evaluating my life through Frank right now. Every time I have to change of pace, go to a rental and rebuild it from a tenant who destroyed it. Every time I get to go out in 27-degree weather and collect eggs at my chicken coop. Every time I get to go feed the cows, every time I get to go feed the goats, I wonder about Frank. It makes me a little emotional, quite frankly. And I just wonder, and like I said, haven't gotten down that road with Frank yet, but I can't wait to pick his brain. I can't wait to get to the point where he can say full sentences and he can have more feeling in his face and his hand and his foot. And he can articulate some of the things, and I can learn from him and be grateful for the experience that Frank went through.
Maybe I noticed this because it gets exposed a little bit different, but it seems that sometimes, someone could have a situation, a handicap, a bad thing happen to them physically, talking about, we'll stay in the world of strokes or a heart attack or losing a limb, whatever. And maybe there's some depression there in the beginning, but I still see a lot of these guys or women or people, whatever you want to say, come back and be like incredibly grateful for the situation because they kind of find that spot. I get to go out and help people. I get to do this. They have a different type of platform, doing some different things. So I see a lot more of that. And the reason why I'm saying this is I'm wondering if that is going into like when Frank first happened, like, oh, why me? All this stuff is gone. And then maybe something happened that triggered him that like, you know what? I'm grateful.
Not giving up.
I'm not giving up. Because I mean, that's debilitating, right? When you can't communicate and you lose all the things that you wanted to do in life. Well, that you enjoy doing in life, tinkering and doing all that stuff. And like, okay, what's the purpose? Maybe that went through his mind at one time. What's the purpose of life right now? Now that I've lost all ability to do the things that I love.
Right.
but maybe, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I would love to see that. I'd love, maybe we can, I go back to the thank God for AI, and, I look at Randy Travis and stuff like that. Maybe there's motor skills somewhere in there that he can type stuff out and at least get words out through Chat GPT, right? And express feelings. I don't know if that's that capability, but that intrigues me.
But I'm intrigued to be able to go down that road as he gets better.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the psychology of gratitude in high stress seasons, because that's what we're talking about, right? That's right. That's one story. When stress hits, your brain goes into fight, flight, or freeze. We talked about that last week. And that goes against McCumber's teaching, which is what?
Are we talking about the 3 H's?
Yep.
Yeah. Can I help you? How can I help you? How can I hear you? Or how can I give you a hug?
Yeah. Yep. So that's one thing that you could tie in. So when the stress hits, stop going into those 3 and maybe go into McCumber's golden nugget that he gave us.
Right.
But here's where the real piece about gratitude comes into play. Gratitude interrupts that loop of fight, flight, or freeze. It says, I'm not unsafe. I still have options. This moment does not define me. That interruption alone can be the difference between collapse and clarity, or give up or fight. Again, I haven't been able to go down that road with Frank, but I just wonder, is he grateful for the fact that he's still alive? I would imagine so, because he's trying to get better. He's doing 40 sessions of hyperbarics. He's feeling better. He loves getting on the vibe plate. He loves doing light therapy. He loves all the interactions with the staff. I can't imagine Frank, and I'm putting words into his mouth and thoughts into his brain, right? But I can't imagine that if he's trying to do all that he's not grateful just to be alive, in light and in spite of the fact that it's difficult every day, in spite and in light of the fact that he had to give up on some of the things that he built his life around.
Yeah, I'm super intrigued. It's like a movie right now, kind of hearing this, right? Like, okay, did his wife find this and like, hey, let's give this a shot, and going into him like, this is not going to work. And then he had a couple of sessions and started feeling stuff and like, wow, okay, maybe there is hope, right? So I hope. So Frank, is somehow you get to listen to this episode, and when you get better, we would love to have you on and know what's in that mind,
Yeah.
And I know speech is a little bit of a problem. I had a friend that had actually it was really weird. I worked out with him in the morning, and he was supposed to come see me in the office, and he never came and saw me. This was probably 7-8 months ago. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He must have just got busy. And I got a phone call, or actually I got a text at 9:00 at night. I'm like, sorry that so-and-so didn't come in today. We're in the hospital. He had a stroke. I'm like, wait, what? What? I just saw him. How do you? So anyway, but, he's back in the gym and he's working out and he's doing stuff. And we talk once in a while, and he kind of the same thing. He goes, I have a new lease on life, or basically a new thought of life. Just I'm grateful that I get to be doing this, because there's not a lot of people that come out of a stroke, first and foremost. And and on top of that, there's not a lot of people, if you do come out of stroke, that get to come in and lift weights and hang out and able to talk and move around and have some sort of mobility on your own. So when you're telling me this story of Frank, I'm going back into my friend's head and kind of the stuff that we've talked about, that like something clicked, like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, to now like, you know what? I'm going to fight. I'm going to overcome this, and I'm going to get back. And I'm just grateful to be in this position. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to see my wife. I'm grateful to see my grandkids. I'm grateful to see my friends. I'm grateful to come into the wellness center and, have this opportunity. Where else could I think if I lived in a different state and I didn't know this? Grateful for to be here. So super intriguing story.
I'm grateful for the interaction with Frank, because it is likely reshaping and reframing my trajectory.
Go ahead. So I'm going to say this too real quick. I have there's a lot of them, maybe one or two that were just, it was really hard. But talking to this gentleman yesterday, and he goes, "Do you love real estate?" And I said, "I do love real estate because I get to interact with people I probably normally wouldn't have to interact with. And I have developed so many different types of friendships out of that. Some are super, I want to call intense, but they're strong friendships. Other ones are kind of a little bit topical, but the point of it is I would have never met these people without this business and have this interaction. How I learn stuff, and I think that's probably where you're going with Frank. Is he's teaching you stuff that probably wouldn't have been taught if this person didn't come into your life. Correct. And then you go back to, because we haven't really touched on this very much, but our faith. Why did God put this guy or this person, if you have one of those people in your life,
in the middle of my path?
Right. And then you're like, okay, then you got to stop and think like, that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to move forward past that story. The second story is very similar to a gentleman that we go to church with that had similar situation, and my wife is able to help him and his wife. His wife's caring for him as well, and so we were able. Yesterday, I saw him smile for the first time in a couple of years, getting out of the chamber for the second time. Now, he's wheelchair bound. Our new chamber is accepting of people. We can just literally wheel them in and zip it down, and off to the races they go, and they get an hour.
Wow.
And so super cool.
That's awesome.
And so with that, I'm grateful that my wife got the download that she got. I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend a large amount of money to support her dreams. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful that I had the money to support her dreams. You guys want to make a difference in your life? Go help people with their dreams. I'm telling you, it is the biggest reward I have ever received. A lot of people talk about this time of year, making plans, talk about being burnt out from 2025 or the previous year or whatever it is. You're going to see, how many posts are you going to see, today and tomorrow? F 2025, I'm ready for 2026. It's not a day in the sand, guys. It's not a line in the sand. It's not a day that changes.
It's true. Yeah.
You got to change your dang mindset. And so gratitude protects you from burnout. Isn't caused by workload. It's caused by meaninglessness in your life. Create meaning by being grateful. Gratitude restores meaning. You stop asking, how much longer can I take this? And you start asking, who am I becoming through this? That shift keeps leaders standing when others step away. I'm not saying it's easy, guys.
No.
But that's the reason why we do this, is to talk about the hard things and to give you tools to go forward to at least make it tolerable.
Yeah, I know that last comment in there, that last segment that you just had in there, it's not all about the sunshine and rainbows, right? We understand that there's going to be some gray, cloudy days, and that's just going to happen. Those are learning experiences. But how do you take those gray, cloudy days and said, you know what? At the end of the day, thank you. I'm grateful that I had this situation. That, I think, is kind of going back to what you said, is be grateful for even the bad days. Like, hey, you know what? 2025.
Some people would love to have your worst day.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a person that I follow on social media, and it's, I look at it and like, man, you're complaining about stuff and you really have zero problems. And I understand that their life is probably hard in their eyes, but when you're shopping for a $1,000 purse and you're just like, oh, my life has been so hard. It was a long day shopping for that. We make fun of that, but seriously, that's 100% what it's about. And there's people, that their kids are living down on, their kids are living on the street someplace, or they have a drug addicted husband or spouse, or, there's just so many different things that happen on there. But but going back to 2025, you can go back and say, you know what, 2025, you kicked my ass, but thank you.
Exactly.
You taught me some cool stuff that I'm going to go ahead. And even though tomorrow is just another day, right? Tomorrow is just going to be another day. This is a day in the life of your path, of your journey. The journey is we're lucky to have tomorrow. If we get tomorrow, and we got some, I don't know if, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess we have dogs. I guess we have dogs today.
Yeah.
With that being said, that'd be a good way, because I think that you're right. A lot of people will sit there and talk like, oh, 2025 was such a burden. I'm so glad that it's over with. Like, instead of, hey, 2025, yeah.
You might have got a piece of me, but I'm still swinging. I'm still swinging.
Still swinging. I got some Band-Aids on here. I got some Neosporin on these cuts, but I'm still coming at you. So
Yeah,
thank you for saying that, dude. That's a great stuff in there, because we'll get to see a lot of that.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
So, a couple of other key points here. Gratitude, use it as a stabilizer. You don't need perfection. You need emotional steadiness. We talked about emotional stability and emotional awareness and emotional maturity. A grateful person doesn't explode when plans fail. They don't disappear under pressure. They don't poison people around them with frustration. Reframe. Instead, say this: this is hard, but I am capable. This is hard, but I am capable. That sentence alone creates momentum and keeps you going and keeps you fighting the good fight. You want to watch a good fight, a literal fight, go back and go on YouTube and look up old Muhammad Ali fights. 8th round, worn out, beat, all the points are against him. He's losing, and he makes a decision. In his mind, I can only imagine that he makes the decision. Win or lose, I'm grateful to be here. And he starts dodging the punches, and he starts going back to basics, and he stops getting hit. He regains his energy, and he ends up winning the fight. Wouldn't that be the coolest story that you would ever be able to tell? Life knocked me down, but I was grateful to be in the fight, and I'm grateful for the people that God put in my path to help me get through it. And I'm ready to start punching again. And I'm gonna win this fight.
Obviously, boxing's a lot different than golf, but there's times in your round where you're off in the desert or on the thing like this, and you had like 2 good shots, and you have a bad one, and then you get out of the bad situation, you hit this freaking miraculous shot. That was awesome. But I use that analogy as what Brent just said about Muhammad Ali. You could just be getting destroyed on the golf course, and you have one good shot. I'm like, man, I love this game. I freaking love it. And you start looking around, and that's where if the wheels start coming off on the round a couple times. If you ever get out here, dude, I got to show you my bubble. My bubble's pretty freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
We're about 600 feet off valley floor, and we get back into this back 9 of the golf course, and I could probably see for 40 miles. Unobstructed. It's incredible, especially when the mountains are snow capped and stuff like that. But the point of that story is that the wheels could be coming off, and you just stop and you look around and like, yeah, this doesn't suck. And I am super grateful that I have the opportunity that I get to be here to do this, because there's a lot of people, even though that we have a lot of people here that are members, there's a lot of people that like to be in my shoes. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
On the other hand, do you feel sometimes that you're forcing gratitude and it feels fake?
I would say there's probably a really small percentage in that, but that it's, for me, is stuff that, like, at times talking to you, stuff that I've read and stuff like that. The reason why I say that it's forced is because I've got to get out of this negativity out of my mind. I'm forcing it to, like, okay, dude, it's a trigger now for me to, like, you can stay in the cesspool of yuck, or you can force your mind to shift to be grateful for this situation. Again, going back to what we talked about earlier today, stuff happened inside the family. We could have stayed in the cesspool. Okay, I don't like this situation. It's going to create a lot of chaos over the next couple of days. Not really chaos so much, just some uncomfortableness and just shifting of stuff. So are you going to be negative about it, or like, okay, God, what do you need me to do in this situation? And I'm grateful that you have me here. But, if they say, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel. Show me what I need to do, because right now my brain is not equipped to how am I supposed to react by this or where I'm supposed to be.
Summarize what you just said.
Okay.
This is where gratitude becomes discipline, not emotion. Gratitude feels fake when you have betrayal, financial strain, health battles, and your dreams are delayed. You don't want to wait to feel grateful. You must choose it first, and the feeling follows. If it feels like you're having to force it, keep doing that discipline. Discipline yourself to feel gratitude in light and in spite of the fact that it might feel fake and forced at first. It's a habit. We've talked about habits on here. 21 days creates a habit. My wife bought me this super cool thing, and I have yet to get into the habit. Daily prayer and gratitude journal. This is something that I am working towards becoming and making a habit. It is the core of what started our discussion about gratitude, because I need to do this every day. I need to arm myself like I'm going to war against everything. The only way that I can do that is to choose it first and then feel it.
So good. So I'm going to say this. For you of those who may not have a relationship with God, which is totally okay, because that's your journey, I would challenge you in some way, or maybe encourage you, is find a Bible and just read it as a story. Read it as a book and apply those situations, what that story has told you or you read, and apply it to your life and how they handled it. Because what Brent just talked about, the gift of his, the gift that his wife gave them. There's some other stuff that I want to talk about too about that. But this gratitude word, this gratitude feeling, this gratitude way of life is an action. You cannot do it without being active, which leads into my next comment. The last page of Ryan, the guy that writes a Daily Stoic.
Ryan Holiday. The last page of, which was a great book. Ken McCumber, thank you for last year for giving me the book. I've gone 365 days reading this every day, even when I was on vacation. So thank you for that, because there were some really cool pages. 98% of it was cool. There were some pages I just didn't understand. Stoics are super hard to understand sometimes. But anyway, the last page today was basically, you can read, you can go to school, you can do all of these different things to absorb knowledge. However, if you don't take action, it means absolutely nothing. It's just a good idea that didn't
get good idea. So I could go back, which I'm going to go back and read from front page to back page again this year for this, because I still think there's, even though kind of the same thing as a Bible, you can read the Bible a million times and you're going to get taught something new every single time you read it. I think the Daily Stoic will have this, because your wisdom is constantly changing in there. So I'll go back in there. But now there'll be certain things that I will probably read that at the beginning and use that as in my journal as, okay, what actions do I need to take today to take that page and make it something? So
I'm going to give you 3 high pressure gratitude exercises. Create a still standing list. When everything feels broken, list what hasn't collapsed. I'm going to restate that. Create a still standing list. When everything feels broken, list what hasn't collapsed. Second, reframe the question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what strength is this developing in me and for me? This is where the magic happens. Back to your point about action. The third thing in a gratitude exercise is to thank people internally, even those who don't know they've helped you. Write it down in your book, send an email to yourself, send a text to yourself, state it in your mind, and it will become part of your being. It is really hard to be upset when you're grateful.
You just read those one more time.
Yep. High pressure gratitude exercises. 3 options, or three things to follow. Create the still standing list. When everything feels broken, list what hasn't collapsed.
Okay.
2, reframe the question. Instead of why is this happening to me, ask what strength is this developing in me? And then the silent thanks. Thank people internally, even those who don't know they've helped you.
I think that last one's really big. I mean, they all have significant power to them, but I think that last one's a big one. And then going back to what you said, I think, one thing that you taught me over the last year, that journaling, even though we started at the beginning of 2025, journaling has been significant. And you take it a little step further, which you talked up a couple episodes ago about, where you like writing down thoughts and you stick it into Chat GPT to really kind of make it a little bit more clear, right? Because our minds have like all these different thoughts, and you try to process them in the right words and the right stuff like this.
Well, in essence, I'm taking your daily journaling.
Yeah.
So I take my daily journaling and I drop it into chat and say, formulate this into cognitive thoughts, action steps, and opportunities for success.
Yeah. That's got to be.
And I use those same 3 prompts every single day.
That's got to be my next step, because I was wondering about, because I know that I've written some really good things in there, but until I go back and read them, which may not make sense because there's scrambled thoughts in the beginning, and they may not make sense when I go back and read them. But I was hoping that by journeying them, that was going to trigger something in my mind for later.
It does.
Yes. But yours is making to me, what I hear what you explain is you doing it, putting it into that format makes things clear and actually gives you ultimate action steps. I'm writing stuff what's in my mind, but there's no action steps of how to make it better. So what I'm saying is I like your step. And you're just basically, are you actually writing down in the journal and then retyping it, or you're just typing it?
I keep a notepad open on my computer all day. And when I'm frustrated, when I'm pissed off, when I don't know what else to do, when I'm frozen, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm ungrateful, write all your feelings down. Keep that notepad, dump that into chat, use those 3 prompts that I gave you to create a format to move forward into action. You too may want to do a podcast, because you might have a lot of nuggets that you want to pass on to people based upon your journaling. We'd love to have folks on who've done that, and love for them to read their action steps. And then, of course, we're going to hold you accountable to the action steps and have a discussion about them.
Right. That's good, dude. That's, the last 2 episodes have been really good. Actually, I just would really say the last 3 or 4 months of us stuff, we really progressed to a different thought process and really go into it. So our gratitude, realistically, even though we've talked about this last week and then this week, we probably have had that intertwined through some other episodes, but super grateful that we have this opportunity, that we had the whereabouts to put this together, that even though that you're 1,000 miles away, it's built our friendship to a whole nother level. It's super intense. But realistically, I think the biggest thing for me out of all of this is our growing followers of subscribers, or people that maybe even watch an episode here and then maybe don't watch an episode for like 10 episodes or 2, whatever it may be. They're kind of sporadic, but whenever they see it, it's like, God, you guys did such a great job. It was like perfect timing. So I'm grateful that God has given us this opportunity, that we continually be able to take that one starfish and throw it back in the ocean and give it some bit of hope. Now, it's really up to them. Do they take our stuff that we said to it? That they probably know it just got hidden in the back of their brain someplace, but uncovered that and like, you're right, this is where I'm stuck, and then help them progress back into, or get back onto their path that was created for them to become more successful. And it's not just successful in business, but maybe relationships, or maybe whatever. I get jacked knowing that typically we do these on Thursdays, but today, the last couple of weeks, because it's the holiday season, we've been doing them on Wednesdays this week. But there's nothing that's going to keep me from doing this every week. And there's plenty of times I have to say, oh, maybe we don't need to do it today.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, we get to help one more person today.
I'm going to close with this.
Yeah.
Got 3 things. Anyone can be grateful when they're winning, but grateful people win because they never stop being grateful, even when they're losing. Everybody talks about creating legacy. I've talked about it on this podcast several times. If you really want to create a legacy, understand how grateful people don't just succeed. They create impact that outlives them by being grateful. Use gratitude not just as a mindset, but as a battle strategy when you go to war every day with outside influences and yourself, and most of all, yourself. And with that, as always, go make a damn difference.
Always a cleansing at the end of these episodes, dude. Always. Well, guys, time to take action. Told you that 135 episodes ago. Every day is just, it's just today. It's win today. All of the different comments you can come up with this. But thank you 1,000 times for following this year. Thank you for our growing subscribers. Thank you for our growing followers. We have YouTube and all those different platforms we have on there. But what I'm trying to say is we have Facebook. Sooner or later, I'm going to get the Instagram up and running. I'm having some complications with that. But anyway, just keep sharing this freaking show, man. That's it. That's really all we ask. Brent and I will take care of the rest. Just share the show. It's super simple. Press a button. Tell somebody, hey, man. But I think really right now, 2025, I'm going to go home. I just got some notifications that all my plans have been changed today, so I have some free time. We're going to get this out today, but I'm going to challenge you this. Maybe even today or tomorrow. What were you grateful for? What were you grateful for?
Send that to us. We'd love to share.
Yeah, and then go to our page on Facebook right now. But go to our page on Facebook right now, and hashtag grateful, and then write what you're grateful for. That's all we need. That would be the best payment that you could give us right now. So have a great end of 2025. It's just today's today. And then get ready and strap in and get ready for 2026. And until we see you next year, stay safe. And most of all, God bless. Take care, guys.